Friday Night Football under the lights in Knoxville, where it's a clash of the past and present of USL League One. The Summit resides at Covenant Health Park, where one Knoxville can take a step closer to the top of the table, while Greenville Triumph look to reverse the rocky start of 2026. The USL League One on ESPN Plus is presented by KUB Fiber. Stream faster with fiber. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the last 13 months, Knoxville has built a fortress within Covenant Health Park, going unbeaten in 15 regular season matches last year. They lost back-to-back at home for the first time in 2 years. Knoxville lost their regular season match against Union Omaha and followed it up with a loss to San Antonio in the USL Cup. Ian Fuller believes that going unbeaten at home last year might have made them a bit too comfortable going into this season. Change will be needed. Coming out flat is not an option at home, and he'll have to rely on one of his options in the 21-year-old striker Denis Krychenkov, who has been top 2 in shots attempted, a large part of why he's tied for the lead in the Golden Boot. Ian Fuller called Krychenkov a machine, noted that he isn't shy to take any shot in any location. However, he has run cold as of late, not having scored since he bagged the brace against Naples at the beginning of the month. He could be aided by the yin to his yang, as he's expected to start alongside last year's team goal leader in Babacar Dieng. However, on the other end, it's been a rocky start for Greenville. Only 2 starts this year. Both were back in March at Furman. Dave Dixon said their last match against Portland was easily the best performance all season. Bringing numbers into the play, staying connected throughout the game, and winning second balls were all part of the game at Fitzpatrick, where they did snag a point the last time out. But their first win on the road continues to elude them, especially with the opening of their new stadium on the horizon. But the man who got the triumph started in Portland was the Spanish forward Rodrigo Robles. His goal against Portland was not only his 3rd, which leads the team, but it snapped the longest goal drought in Greenville team history. Dave Dixon said that Robles is a guy that you highlight when you go up against him, and has an underrated ability to locate others in his play. Similar to how Krychenkov and Dieng can be that deadly duo for Ian Fuller, he looks for Robles and Liati to link up going forward. For One Knox is the pursuit for the number 1 seed, as Greenville had a rocky ride to start the year but aimed to right the ship. Lineups and kickoff are next.
If you want to learn how to fan the football way, ask the fans with a Modelo. They look like thousands, but sound like one. In their hands, a simple beat is transformed into a masterpiece. Commitment runs through their veins. Because to them, the bigger the family, the better the game. So go ahead, ask the fans with a Modelo.
At Zoom Drain, we fix drain and sewer problems fast. That's all we do.
Clogged kitchen sink? Call Zoom Drain. Toilets overflowing? Call Zoom Drain. Ankle deep in the shower? Call Zoom Drain. Sewage in your yard? Call Zoom Drain. Water pooling outside? Call Zoom Drain. Strong sewer smell? Call Zoom Drain.
When you have a clogged drain, call Zoom Drain. To get your life flowing today.
Extra. It changes the energy on the field and off. It changes the expectations. It changes the game. At Regions, we celebrate the extra that makes the SEC the definition of excellence, while our team goes the extra mile so your financial wins keep coming too. Extra changes everything. And extra is our ordinary at Regions, official bank of the SEC.
I would never go back to my previous provider.
If I had this sooner, I could have eliminated a lot of frustrations.
I don't have to hear, Mom, the internet is not working. If you don't have it, you'd be crazy not to switch.
We come to you from Covenant Health Park in Knoxville, Tennessee, as One Knox are in pursuit of the number 1 overall seed, and Greenville Triumph. They have a ways to go, but a rocky start to 2026 can be reversed if they can find their form today with their potential first road win of the season. Starting lineups are brought to you by KUB, and starting off with One Knoxville, they're making 3 changes from the last game against Corpus Christi. Dieng starts again with Krychenkov, neither of which scored since the 2nd against Naples. they'll look to be aided by Teddy Baker, who is second on the team in chances created, including the corner that tied the game last time out against Corpus Christi. Will Perkins is the other change, as Johan Garibay is between the pipes, leading League One with 4 clean sheets. As for Dave Dixon and the Triumph, one change from the last time out against Portland Hearts of Pine. They go to a 2-forward look with Robles and Liotti leading the way. Segrist goes up to the midfield, allowing Evan Lee to drop back on the left fullback slot. Daniel Wu is the lone change, with Anthony Paddy being suspended due to a red card, as Amal Knight is back between the pipes. He did get the first points since joining the Greenville Triumph. Still looking for that elusive first win of 2026 is the Jamaican keeper, Liotti. As for One Knox, they've had a rough go of it at home since going undefeated in 2025 here at Covenant Health Park. 11 wins, 0 losses when they were in the confines of Covenant Health. But for Greenville Triumph, they've got to find that first win on the road. Both wins were back in March. They were both in Thurman, a venue that will no longer be their home starting on Wednesday when they open their new stadium back in Greenville. A place where they could have a chance to reverse their fortunes at a tough 2-4-1 start for the Triumph. And new venues are a thing within USL League One, considering that this park has only been around for 13 months. It is One Knoxville. They'll start things off left to right in all blue. Greenville Triumph will be in all white. They'll operate right to left as Teddy Baker stands over the ball, where we begin here at Covenant Health Park in Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville have been in unusual form at home, dead at 500, 2-2-1, while Greenville Triumph yet to secure the full 3 points away from South Carolina. As Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN Plus crew, we thank you for joining us here in Knoxville, where the reigning champs are 4 points away from the #1 overall seed, where they are still in pursuit of Los Buos of Union Omaha, who play tomorrow in a top 4 clash against FC Naples. But for Knoxville, it's been a bit of a disappointing start in 2026. Haven't necessarily had the best go of it, especially in the last several matches where they seemingly, to their own standards, underperformed. And they want to find a way to get back in that dominant form. Even though they are top 3 in the standings, top 3 is not good enough for One Knox and Ian Fuller's side. Absences on both sides of the pitch, as one of the top chance creators for Knoxville, Mikael Gouling, got a red card last time out. Anthony Paddy in the center back is missing for Greenville, also on a red card, as Krachenkov's attempt took a clip along the way, and that allows Amal Knight to cover up. Amal Knight, 4 matches since joining Greenville this past offseason, yet to get a win with the Triumph. 3 losses and the 1 draw last time out against Portland Hearts of Pine. But for Knight, the Jamaican international, pretty much the leader in the clubhouse between the pipes for Dave Dixon, considering what he and Seth Torman have been able to do back and forth throughout the season. Both of those 2 wins in March actually had Torman starting between the pipes, but maybe a chance for Knight and Greenville to start as Segrist up the line. Robles around Perkins. Segrist to center, but blocked away by Skelton, forcing the first corner of the match. A place where Greenville have not been able to really maximize the fewest corners in the league, as is the first time for us to roll that beautiful bean footage, as the attempted centering feed from Segrist and Robles doesn't go anywhere. And this allows Devin Boyce to take the first corner of the match. Boyce lobs it into the mix from the barrage of blue, and Robles sends it sky high. Our first look at the head man for One Knox, Ian Fuller. Last time out versus Corpus Christi was his 40th match, leading the way for One Knox. And considering what Knoxville have been dealing with the last several games, it's really an unusual spot for these last couple of games. For the last time out versus Corpus Christi, they were fresh off of a string of back-to-back losses between the regular season and the USL Cup. And they do so again back here at home, where they face back-to-back home losses for the first time since June of 2024. In that stretch, they actually lost 3 straight regular season home matches in that stretch. However, that was in a previous venue back at University of Tennessee, as Bradilio Rodriguez walks up the middle, splits it. Murphy fires, took a clip out of play. This will be a Knoxville corner as we go end to end. Greenville just had their chance, and it's an opportunity for Murphy. You had Fricky up in front to prevent that from going further. But John Murphy is a guy who has absolutely made his contributions felt since joining One Knox from his last 2 seasons with Ford Matterson. First corner of the match for Knoxville. Struck in, blocked out. Robles taken down. For Dave Dixon and Greenville triumph, probably the biggest shoes to occupy of any coach in USL League One, considering he took over in December after Rick Wright decided to hang it up, his seat with the Greenville triumph. And already having a difficult task, considering how Greenville missed the playoffs for the first time last year, ending Coach Wright's tenure. And with one of the more historically successful clubs in USL League One, trying to revive the relevance is absolutely a task. But Greenville will be on the front foot as they earn a throw-in just on the inside of the flag. That 11th place finish last year for Greenville was also the lowest off the dome of Skelton, tossed back in and held on by Johan Garibay. The 26-year-old who has started all 10 regular season matches for One Knox, currently leads the league in clean sheets, also second in saves with 31. Toss back to center. Rodriguez scored one of the 2 goals against Corpus Christi, lays it back to center. Wanting to open things up for DN, falls right to the feet of Murphy. Caputo, harassed, still possessing, and eventually gets aided by the whistle of our head official, Aman Hadzik. Zach McWhorter, Alexandra Facea, Daniel Emery round out the crew. They are in orange today. On the outside, Rodriguez will keep it with Knoxville. Coming off of that 2-2 draw against Corpus Christi, we're hanging on by a thread for large parts of that game. We mentioned Mikhail Guling's absence because of red card suspension. He only took that 3 minutes into the second half, as Kochenkov couldn't let it fly. It's blocked away the wall of white. So Knoxville, in that Corpus Christi game, they went down a man 3 minutes into the second half, where they were already down a goal at that point. But you have to really credit their effort at the end of the day, getting 2 goals in the second half while a man down. And Ian Fuller did note how, even though it was not the best representation of what Knox is about, the fight and the pushback, the nonstop nature of their squad is at the very least a part of their DNA, and he can, at the very least, be relatively content in knowing that that hasn't been lost. Especially how when they lose the fight, that's when things need to be changed. But it's the change up for Greenville, centering. Boyce flips it out. Robles goes off the body of Jordan Skelton and slowed down by Garibay. Only as far as Evan Lee, booting it back to Robles. Progress stopped by Greenville. Baker. Berdilio Rodriguez on loan from Lexington. As Murphy across center, corralled by Rodriguez. And a whistle comes in the process. Murphy cut down by Connor Evans. This will go back to 1 Knox. Tune in to CBS SN Saturday, May 30th for a USL Championship battle for the top of the Eastern Conference. Reigning Player Shield winner Louisville City FC play host to undefeated Tampa Bay Rowdies. 7 p.m. Eastern. Catch all the action on CBS SN. Headed away by Dan Wu. Play back for Fricky, and this will give Greenville some breathing room. Especially for a Greenville side that have really had a rough go of it across all competitions. Winless across the last 5 in all comps, where they've been really tested the whole way through with a -9 goal differential across that as DN centers, no one on the receiving end. A -9 goal differential across the last 5 games in all comps, which includes 3 shutouts in the last 4. But things have possibly turned a corner for Coach Dixon's Triumph side, especially with how well they did overall against Portland Hearts of Pine. The overall rocky roller coaster, new systems, new staff with a large part changeover within the roster. But we really talked about winning the little moments being a key to getting a point last time out against the Hearts. How some of their poor plays were due to big gaps and disconnection throughout the entire roster, especially defensively. But if they can at the very least work together in numbers and keep things compact, it's been one of the reasons why they've been able to gather points and how things panned out for them in the early portion of the season. It just hasn't as of late. And also doesn't help for Greenville's case that they were largely rested throughout the month of April. Just the lack of game time and what that can do. You have 2 opposite sides of that coin, where Knoxville, they played so many games because of their run in the Open Cup and kind of the early congestion of these regular season matches. As for Greenville, only 2 games played in the month of April, so they just haven't really had that time to get into game rhythm. Easily one of the lowest game totals across USL League One is Greenville, having only played 7 matches prior to today. Only Madison and Chattanooga have as many, or rather as few. Drop down, DN splits it, Krachenkov. Krachenkov centers and blocked away by Fricky before it reaches DN, but it does give Knoxville another corner. Eddie Baker will occupy the flag. He does have Murphy as the short option. It was a Baker corner that forced the own goal by Logan Erb, Corpus Christi's keeper, to tie the last one up 2-2. But this one we had outswinger. That goal was an in-swinger. It's Baker, cut down, still loose, headed, off the line! Knight punches it away. Murphy another swing, but Lee was there first. What an opportunity for one Knox off of this corner opportunity. You had Krachenkov and McRobb both within about 10 yards. And then that final swing by Murphy couldn't get there. Evan Lee got the first touch to it, and it's tossed in by Perkins. Still loose in the mix. Caputo can't wrap around Robles, but Perkins will maintain it for one Knox. Chris Teo, the last man back. Rodriguez lets Baker take it away. As we are in the first quarter hour of the match, nothing on the board yet. First of two meetings between these sides. Knoxville have won the last three. And of those three, they were all across the 2025 season, including a game in the second round of last year's Open Cup, when Knoxville eliminated Greenville from the Open Cup last year. Will Perkins, one of three changes made to Ian Fuller's roster from last time out against Corpus Christi. Moonball, Chris Teo settles it down. Murphy. He fumbled it out of play to a Knight goal kick. The USL champion, watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TuneIn, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Ball loose. Robles fights for it. Still Robles. Cuts back. Back heels. Segrist. Robles again couldn't get it past Skelton. And what a force Jordan Skelton is defensively. 3 years in the league, three-time first team All League One, including finally, arguably getting his flowers as the defender of the year in 2025, where he and Sean Lewis were that defensive stalwarts in the back. Rodriguez leads it. Teo cuts to the middle. No one on the receiving end. Loose. Murphy drops it. Baker can't get through. But one Knox will be able to keep it deep on the throw. They've tight-roped that end line several times, have Knoxville. You can oftentimes see Murphy maybe going for the spin and shoot, but instead lays it off to Baker. As there's a whistle inside of the box. $18 minutes in, zeros across the board. One Knoxville, Greenville triumph to open up the match week in USL League One. These are two teams who have, at some point or another, won the double within USL League One. Knoxville, they did it just last season. 2 of 5 teams to have won the double. Last year's Knoxville unit and the 2020 Greenville Triumph squad. Boyce couldn't get away. Daniel Wu is the replacement with Anthony Patty out due to a red card against Portland. Dangerous corner against Greenville where Patty had a handball right alongside the goal line that sent him off and put him on the suspended list for this evening. Skelton, center circle, winds up, T.O. takes contact, and Boyce will give Knoxville the free kick. Teddy Baker will be the lone man on this ball. He is top 5 in USL League One in chances created. For the former Division II All-American back in 2022 when he was with Lake Erie College. Baker's alone. To the middle, DN. The touch doesn't favor him, so it's a full sprint ahead. However, T.O. outraces Robles. Taken away, return to Baker, up the gut, can't find DN, and this will draw another free kick for Knoxville. And a yellow card in the process. This was up the middle. It looked like it was Daniel Wu who was tangled up with DN. And that is a tough go of it, especially when DN has been lurking for that opportunity to score again. He hasn't done so since the beginning of the month against Naples. But for Daniel Wu making his introduction for the first time since May 2nd in a game in Omaha, takes a booking that puts Knoxville in prime position potentially to open up this match. For a unit that is top 3 in goal scoring, Knoxville. Baker took the last free kick. He's got Bradilio Rodriguez alongside. It's Rodriguez to goal and off the post and out. Inches away from the opener for Bradilio Rodriguez. A nice right-footed strike off the wall, and it just goes off of that left post. Scored the first goal of the game in Corpus Christi as Krichenkov settles it. Side of the net, poked out of play. And they say that it was Krichenkov unimpeded. Knight slams it all the way to the Knoxville end, where you have a little bit of laboring near the center circle. That is Abel Caputo, who gets back on his feet. He took a couple of knocks against Corpus Christi last time out also. Second year with 1 Knox, and was a part of the Lexington roster in 2024. That was in League One before they promoted to the USL Championship. He has been with 1 Knox since. Today is his 80th match in USL League One, is Caputo. 2 away from 150 across all competitions, all levels in his pro career. Evans loosens, Boyce stuck to the feet of Liotti. Rodriguez will retreat. Robles. You almost always see him with some sort of contact around him as he looks to sprint upward. Segrist. Attempted cross off of Perkins. Greenville ball. Segrist heaves it. Still available. Fricky couldn't find it. Robles controls. A man whose name we haven't said much of, Chaparrera, leading for Liotti. Too far in front. Select is proud to be the official matchball supplier of the USL. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Aiming towards DN again. Rodriguez keeps it in play. Murphy controls. Takes a long route. Has help. Baker settles, couldn't fire. That one took an awkward bounce on Baker as he lost his footing, but it'll go right back to 1 Knox that's forced out of play. This was the last opportunity, probably the last good opportunity since the free kick, as Baker just had it awkwardly bounce off his leg a little bit out of his reach. We still have yet to see a registered shot on target in this match. 3 minutes away from the half hour. It's a Knoxville side that are doing pretty much everything they can to prevent dropping the standards that they've set over the last several years. Pretty much since the get-go in 2023, they've only improved season in and season out. Just barely missing the playoffs in 2023, their first year. getting within the playoff field last year and then taking everything they can and running with it a year ago. As Deanne goes from deep and well wide. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Your ticket to great seats. And what a venue it has been, Covenant Health Park. Only 13 months ago, it was open to One Knoxville. They actually opened it up in the USL Cup. In a game where they won in penalties. What a flick. Krchenkov frees up Murphy. Murphy leaves it. Deanne, and it's held off by Knight. Deanne was reaching and had a chance to break through, but Amal Knight holds off. This is a great play, not just the first touch from Krchenkov, but finding a way to get it to Deanne away from Daniel Wu, who has been having all sorts of issues on Deanne. Deanne had 10 goals in the regular season in 2025, which was a team lead last year, and also gave him one of the nods of a second-team All-League One last year. As you have one of the key catalysts of this Knoxville team in John Murphy, who does get back up on his feet. Murphy already having 3 goals this year, which ties a career high, which he achieved back in 2024 with Madison. Perkins drops Robles. We're at the half-an-hour mark. Lee, Boyce. Lost control for Finn McRobb. T.O.'s playing in his second match since April 11th. Against Portland Hearts of Pine, only 2 regular season games since today and the last time out against Corpus Christi. End to end, Perkins. Perkins to the middle, Krchenkov cuts it, fires back and held up by Knight. The rebound is loose and just outside of the frame, but it will give Knoxville a corner. Things have heated up in Knoxville as Amal Knight has had to stand on his head for a good portion of this match. Krchenkov going back to the left, forcing the save, and the rebound was loose inside the 6, but it's pushed out by Wu, forcing another Teddy Baker corner. Inward, no one to take a ricochet. Had Deanne gotten there, could have beaten Knight. Well, that's 2 straight chances that Deanne was thwarted by Amal Knight. It's been a largely Knoxville-controlled first half. Nearing 2/3 of possession. 6-2, the shot discrepancy, and 3 shots on target to none for the Triumph. It's been a point of contention all year long for the Triumph, considering that they are bottom 5 in terms of just shot attempts. It's one thing to not get goals and get many opportunities and all the chances in the world. It's another when you just don't have those chances in the first place. And even when they do get those big chances, they have squandered them at times. 11 big chances missed, which is top 5 in League One. So just all sorts of issues on the offensive side of the ball for Greenville this year. And they'll have to really find it because the 2 games that they did win back in March, they were both games where they had 3 or more goals. It was a 3-2 win back on March 25th against the New York Cosmos. And only 4 days after that, they had a 4-2 win against Westchester. As you have some yanking and tugging right along that far sideline. It's Daniel Wu getting the talking to, and he has to be very careful. He's already on a yellow card. Keep in mind, Wu is only in because Anthony Patty is on red card suspension. Second stint with Greenville is Wu, having spent 2 years here between 2023 and 24. With speed on the outside goes Perkins. Krachenkov held off by Fricky, takes a tumble, but only to the result of a goal kick. Both teams, relatively speaking, getting off their respective schneids. As for Greenville Triumph, their 70th minute goal by Rodrigo Robles snapped the longest scoreless drought in team history. 12 minutes longer than the previous record of 390 minutes back in 2019. They had 402 scoreless minutes in regular season play, snapped just last week, and could have a chance to provide the first answer on the board. It's Segrist and Evans. It'll be Evans, blocked off by Krachenkov, but returned to Greenville. Two, 4, and 1 to start the first 7 matches for the Triumph. Only 7 points to show for it. They were 3rd from the bottom going into today. Segrist to toss. Krachenkov again. Evans back in the box. Garibay with the hands. 10 minutes remain in the opening half. Aggressive at center, gives the whistle to Knoxville's favor. Azad Liadi got in and reached in there. For Greenville, they are nearing a half an hour without a shot attempt. The last one was back in the 9th minute, the Robles attempt that forced one of the opening corners for Greenville, their lone corner. And since that mark, Knoxville have attempted 5, including all 3 of theirs on target. We just recently mentioned the goalless drought that Greenville escaped in the last game versus Portland. In the last game versus Corpus Christi, that was Knoxville's first time scoring multiple goals since the beginning of the month, where they won 3-0 against Naples, as Murphy couldn't slide it towards Deanne nor Kurchenkov. Liotti leaves it behind. Across for Segrist. Segrist from Lee. And they'll hold on for the time being, Art Greenville. Dave Dixon wanting his guys to maximize their numbers in those key areas and positions on the field. It allowed them to really maximize some of what was presented to them by Portland. But One Knox trying to be stout in what they're doing. Just closing off the space and putting pressure on every single one of their guys, considering how threatening they can be in space, were some of the notes of Ian Fuller in his scouting report for the Triumph. And there's some of that pressure. Perkins jars it loose. Perkins slides it, couldn't get to Deanne. Great play made by Fricky. A four-time All-USL League One defender is Brendan Fricky, who wears the armband for Greenville. Stopped that last attempt between Perkins and Deanne, but the Triumph will have to look out once again. Bradilio Rodriguez up the middle. Return from Murphy. Rodriguez has Perkins wide open. Back to the middle. Kurchenkov. Kurchenkov! Just missed. This was a nice opportunity. Once again, started by Will Perkins, who's been having some good opportunities. He actually might have made contact with Evan Lee on that attempted windmill kick. Might have caught Lee in the process, but nonetheless, the sacrifices you make to prevent those type of opportunities from a prime player like Kurchenkov. His 5 goals are within the top of USL League One. He's in a 4-way tie at top of the Golden Boot race. 3 of those 5 goals were actually opening goals in their respective games. They could use one here under 5 minutes in the first half. Still zeros on the board. For Knoxville, they are aiming for that first home win in about 6 weeks. It was a 2-1 win back on April 18th against the Charlotte Independents, as Perkins, just 8 contact from Segrist, but will do so with a throw-in in his hands. For the captain, Skelton. Disrupted. The 2 ex-Texoma teammates, Baker and Perkins, on the near side. Knoxville will reset. McRobb with pressure. Tio opens up space. Tio splitting through defenders. It took a ricochet, communication. It's Baker. Scoops it. Kurchenkov couldn't touch it in. Bradillo Rodriguez keeps it in for Knoxville. Rodriguez stutters, but Boyce recovers nicely. Herrera heaves it, couldn't locate Liotti. Baker again. Perkins. Dean. Almost lost his footing. T.O. hesitates. Service gets blocked. Caputo. Hard takedown as Liotti got the contact in and will take the yellow. Caputo going for the jump ball. And you can see the hip-on-hip contact between he and Liotti, and also the tough fall afterwards. So that's a yellow card on both Liotti and Wu. A deep free kick for Knoxville just before the end of the regulation 45 in the first half. Baker. Bradillo Rodriguez, still loose. Controlled by McRobb. It's the Scottish defender, lost his footing. Evan Lee mops it away. Could have been dangerous for Garibay, but he'll take that one as stoppage time is presented by Zoom Drain, the official drainage partner of One Knoxville SC. One added minute to this game. Granted, not a lot has really happened. 10 total shot attempts, 8-2 the split favoring Knoxville. 3 of those were on target. Neither of Greenville's were. And Knoxville still with about 2/3 of the possession at this point. Coach Fuller just talking about being smart in their play, not giving anything up. And how things maybe in this last month haven't been up to standards. But they're still just barely getting by on both ends. But so far have really controlled the overall tempo of this game on what could likely be the final act of the game, or the half, pardon. And there will be no kick because that is the end of half. Still scoreless through 45 minutes. Garibay yet to be tested. Amal Knight has held off on his end of the pitch. But we'll see how things go when we come back. One Knox look to remain in their dominant form as Greenville Triumph just look to get back to form. Zeros across the board. Halftime in Knoxville when we come back.
Extra. It changes the energy on the field and off. It changes the expectations. It changes the game. At Regions, we celebrate the extra that makes the SEC the definition of excellence, while our team goes the extra mile so your financial wins keep coming too. Extra changes everything. And Extra is our ordinary at Regions, official bank of the SEC.
It was definitely worth the wait.
I jumped on it as soon as it was available.
Everybody's switching. I see the signs popping up all over the neighborhood.
Roxol is super fast speeds down and up.
It's a huge upgrade.
Cost is always consistent. I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
I still got it, and I still love it.
If it's in your area, you better get it. And if it's not, it'll soon be there, and you get it then.
If you want to learn how to fan the football way, ask the fans with a Modelo. They look like thousands, but sound like one. In their hands, a simple beat is transformed into a masterpiece. Commitment runs through their veins. Because to them, the bigger the family, the better the game. So go ahead, ask the fans with a Modelo.
We're back at Covenant Health Park in Knoxville, where there's no goals between One Knox and Greenville triumph. Halftime is brought to you by Realty Executives as we get started into match week 13 of USL League One. Let's take a look back at weeks 11 and 12, our team of the week. A lot of vowels from Omaha and Adam.
Chips us in. Falls to Anderson Rosa. He'll tee it up. Rosa! That is remarkable!
Anderson Rosa scored a screamer for Sarasota. To find out why, we have to slow it down. A terrific first touch opens up space, but watch the two defenders in front of him. They're backing off, so Rosa has a chance to take more touches into space, get closer to the goal, rip the laces into the bottom corner. It's a fantastic strike, and it's a laser finish for your select USL League One goal of the week.
As the ball takes a bounce for Madison. Chance on the break, and it's denied by Levy. Even Honor could not get it through. And it's that man again, Matt Levy.
Before the World Cup can begin, 48 national teams need a home. And home is a lot more than a practice field.
They wanted a beautiful grass field and in a sort of secure facility with great access to gyms and all the other pieces around.
Dan Rutstein had the honor of handing the keys to Orange County SC's entire facility to the U.S. men's national team. Why does it matter to you to have the U.S. national team at your facility?
Look, if you can't get excited about a World Cup, then we shouldn't be in this business. It's obviously an enormous opportunity. We're happy for them, it's a great facility. We're happy for us, we're happy for our fans. So we can be talked about in the same breath as the home nation in a home World Cup.
Orange County is joined by the Oakland Roots, who will host the Australian national team, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies hosting first-time World Cup team Cape Verde. When clubs spend multiple weeks in one building, the facility must accommodate an entire support system, not just the players. In a large country like the United States, travel can take a toll. Cape Verde's Tampa home sets up short flights to Atlanta, Miami, and Houston for its group matches. Australia will play matches in Vancouver, Seattle, and nearby Santa Clara. The U.S. team's longest journey is Seattle, sandwiched between two group matches in Los Angeles. But as the World Cup takes place, it's business as usual for the USL Championship. For Orange County, a worthwhile temporary adjustment.
We're still training next door. The short-term pain of being not allowed to use our stadium for the medium and long-term gain of working with the US national team, we could never say no to an opportunity like that.
Jansen Wilson with a heat-seeking missile! Now from distance, shot once more, and score!
Now and then, you need to stop and smell the roses. Or the leaves, rocks, trees, sticks, and that one tree again.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Extra. It changes the energy on the field and off. It changes the expectations. You're gonna be great. It changes the game. At Regions, we celebrate the extra that makes the SEC the definition of excellence, while our team goes the extra mile so your financial wins keep coming too. Extra changes everything. And Extra is our ordinary at Regions, official bank of the SEC.
0-0 in Knoxville as One Knox and Greenville triumph are awaiting the second half of play. Halftime brought to you by Realty Executives. We start off match week 13 in League One here in Knoxville, but let's take a look forward into the other games. 6 games slated for tomorrow. Our crew will be in Omaha as they are in a top 4 clash against Naples. You also have that playoff rematch tomorrow at 6:30 between not only Omaha and Naples, but also Portland Hearts of Pine and Spokane Velocity, where Spokane eliminated Portland in PKs. Omaha got eliminated by Naples in PKs also, as well as pretty much every other expansion team across the board aside from 2 of the League One veteran teams in Chattanooga and Charlotte. This is the latest from USL League One. Let's take a look around the rest of USL.
The first half is in the books in USL League One. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with the headlines from the week. One expansion club stunned another in Week 12. Fort Wayne handed AC Boise its first home defeat after Boise began the season with a very impressive 5-game unbeaten run at home in all competitions. Boise's streak is the 5th longest to begin an inaugural season in League One history. Don't look now, but 2 red-hot clubs have jumped above the playoff line and hope to climb even higher. Charlotte Independence defeated Forward Madison 3-1 to run its unbeaten streak to 4 matches, moving into 6th place in the League One table. And And sitting 1 point behind them is AV Alta, who also has a 4-game unbeaten run, capped by a 4-0 victory against the New York Cosmos. AV Alta moves into the 8th spot in the League One table. Congratulations to Spokane Velocity goalkeeper Sean Lewis for collecting his 200th career save, a USL League One record. His regular season totals in League One include 72 appearances, 26 shutouts, and a save percentage above 75. League One and the USL Championship have loaded the month of June with national spotlight broadcasts. CBS Sports Network will feature the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Charleston Battery, and Las Vegas Lights against Orange County. ESPN2 will feature Forward Madison against Fort Wayne. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
I would never go back to my previous provider.
If I had this sooner, I could have eliminated a lot of frustrations.
I don't have to hear, Mom, the internet is not working.
If you don't have it, you'd be crazy not to switch.
Tired of dealing with the same drain problems again and again? Zoom Drain Bio helps stop backups before they start. This safe, natural probiotic treatment breaks down grease and waste. No harsh chemicals, no pipe damage, just cleaner drains and fewer surprises. With regular use, Zoom Drain Bio keeps your system flowing and extends the life of your Zoom Drain service. Zoom Drain Bio, a greener way to protect your pipes, your budget, and the planet.
You've heard all about the benefits of contrast therapy. Now it's time to experience it for yourself. Explore the deep relaxation of a sauna session, the thrill of a cold plunge, and simply take a little time to unwind. Book a standard 2-hour visit, and you can always add a massage. It's all designed for deep, effortless rest. It's time for something different. It's time for Sauna House.
Halftime between Knoxville and Greenville. No goals yet, but a lot of action between these two. Starting things off in the 14th minute as our halftime highlights are brought to you by Realty Executives. A lot of these bobbling attempts all around in the box, especially from these set pieces, but nothing has crossed a Mall Knight yet. The first opportunity on the corner was bouncing around. Krachenkov headed off of the hand of Knight, and then this try by Rodriguez goes off of the post and out, unable to get anything through there. Half an hour into the match, John Murphy was able to locate DN, who was able to at the very least beat his defender. That's the combination of Wu and Fricky, but once again, Amal Knight holding it off. And then only a couple minutes after that, another centering feed where Krachenkov gets the first save from Knight. The rebound by DN is just a little bit short as Wu reaches back to poke it out of play and avert the danger for the time being. As we go through highlights, we'll also go through stats from Realty Executives, and very much it's been a relatively one-sided affair, all going Knoxville's way. They just haven't been able to capitalize to this point yet. 8-2 in shots, 3-0 shots on target, and nearly 2/3 of possession into the half. And for one Knoxville, if they want to chase Omaha at the top of the table, they'll have to eventually maximize and capitalize on those opportunities. For Greenville, if they can just find anything of any sort, they could potentially keep themselves within this game, or at the very least keep Knoxville at bay. But another 45 minutes up and coming at Covenant Health Park. Greenville triumph and won Knoxville to open up week 13 of USL League One regular season play. For One Knox, they have relatively dominated the first half of play, probably to Ian Fuller's liking, especially because from the matches where they don't get wins, and even in the 2 of the last 3 games where they've lost, the last 2 home matches especially, he said those are the games where you learn the most, especially when you have games where the performance and the results don't exactly line up. They've lost their last 2 home games, R1 Knox, against Omaha and against San Antonio in the Prince Tires USL Cup, which will be their next game played. But we're back here for the second half between Greenville and Knoxville. Greenville will be in white, left to right they will operate. Going right to left will be one Knox in the all blue, as we're back for the second half between Knoxville and Greenville. Zeros across the board. Ryan Lee, our entire ESPN Plus crew, we thank you for joining us in a relatively steamy 77-degree day with a relatively high chance of precipitation in the second half, but nothing has come yet in this match. Perkins causing all sorts of disruptions in the first half of play, and even taking a couple of chances himself. Only one other game happening today. Forward Madison and Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi still looking for that elusive first win, where they are unfortunately still likely to extend their longest stretch in League One history without a win for an expansion side is Corpus Christi. That got extended last time out against one Knox and on the ropes versus the Mingos. Right now, we're looking to revive some of the early mishaps of their season, similar to Greenville, who have 2 men on the ball. Segrist leaves it. And an easy catch for Garibay. Virgilio Rodriguez sidesteps on Wu. Baker follows up with Perkins. Will Perkins off the defender, and it goes in! What in the world just happened? Will Perkins off the defender into the back of the net, and one Knoxville get the opening goal just out of the halftime break. What a really interesting goal from Perkins. This goes off the head of Segrist. Everyone is watching that sky high, and it just barely clips off the inside of the post. Amal Knight could only do so much, as that just perfectly hits the pipe and in. We'll have to see if that's a goal for Perkins or an own goal from Patrick Segrist. But at the very least, either way, one Knoxville have the lead. A similar degree of awkwardness to tie the game last time out against Corpus Christi was one Knox. It was a shot that went off of the hands of the keeper and into the back of the net that gave them the 2-all tie against Corpus Christi last time out. The crossing attempt goes off of the defender and into the Greenville goal to open things up this time around. In the last 2 games, it's been a wild opening 3 minutes for one Knox. Around this time of the game, last time out, Mikael Guling got sent off. And the marker is in. They do say it is a Segrist own goal. It is currently marked as a 48th minute own goal by Patrick Segrist. Well, one Knoxville were bound to break through eventually, especially having that 8-2 discrepancy in shot attempts. We'll see if they'll count that Perkins one as a cross or a shot, but it could be loosened up as Robles couldn't split the D, but did win the whistle. A yellow card given against McRobb. Let's take another look at that beautiful bean footage as you see McRobb coming in as Robles tried to split he and Skelton. For McRobb, 10 regular season matches this year with Knoxville. He had 10 regular season matches in his time in the USL Championship with Indy 11 last year. He and Skelton will have to lead the wall as this will be a very short free kick attempt for Greenville. All sorts of communication. Boyce goes into the box. You do have a lead nearby, but seemingly this will be either Segrist or Liotti. Segrist leaves it. Liotti took a ricochet out of play, corner Greenville. Only one in the first half, their first in the second half. It's Segrist to serve again. Way deep. And they say that hit DN last. It's been a lot of focus on those second balls, especially because it was a tough part of their game early on. Tough in terms of just not getting those second opportunities and rebounds and keeping the ball deep in the opponent's end. Just allowing for more chances if they can do that. As toss in, back to Segrist in the middle, still in the area. Boyce! Over the bar! What a save by Garibay! Another corner for Greenville. This is a great play for Greenville as Boyce takes it on the first touch, but an even better stop by Garibay to push it up and over, and it's another corner to Greenville. They had two in this half already compared to their one in the first half. Segrist sends it in, cut down by DN. Perkins finishes it off. Back in towards Segrist, but offside. First time we've seen the flag come up in this game. Johan Garibay. How exceptional has he been? The last 2 years as the backup to the two-time goalkeeper of the year, Sean Lewis. As it's turned over, Rodriguez chips it. Murphy might be alone, but it's caught by Knight. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. It's a scramble right near Greenville's box. Knoxville were offside. Greenville have conceded the opening goal for the 4th time this year after that unfortunate ricochet. And the last 3 times that they conceded the opening goal, they had shutout losses. And that actually accounts for their 3 regular season matches prior to the 1-1 draw against Portland. 3-0 loss to Richmond, 2-0 loss to Omaha, and 1-0 loss to Naples. And you even had a 3-0 shutout loss in the mix in the USL Cup against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the champions of the USL Championship. With a takedown on Perkins, who'll win the whistle. And that's going to force all sorts of reactions from Ian Fuller. At the very least, when it comes to Coach Fuller, if you see him on the sideline, you'll know exactly how he feels. The body language says it all with Coach Fuller. First head coaching gig, 2nd season with Knoxville. Deep ball in the box. Boys can't clear. Offside Knoxville. Still the lone goal in the 48th minute. The cross from Will Perkins off of the head of Segrist. And it's listed as a Segrist own goal 10 minutes ago in the 48th. Caputo by center. Held back towards Skelton. It's a foot race. DN couldn't beat out Lee. Kept in by Perkins. Couldn't link up. He was wide of Baker. As a delayed whistle comes up against Skelton. Already seeing the influence of our officiating crew in red today. Amin Hadzik, Zach McWhorter, Alexandra Facea, and Daniel Emery is our crew. Only the 3 yellow cards to show for it. Robles far side. Couldn't connect to Segrist. But it'll stay with Greenville. Or does it? Perhaps not. Back to Knoxville it goes. The combination of Baker and Perkins, both of whom did have their time together last year with Texoma, who were one and done in the USL League One, both of whom coming to Knoxville this last season. As Murphy stutters around Lee. Caputo can't loosen it up. All sorts of grappling goes to Knoxville. Bradilio Rodriguez. Up the middle, DN holds, fires, stopped by Knight. Corner to one Knox. As Knight had a great response, as that's his last touch since the goal. Looked like Bradillo Rodriguez might have tried to take that one himself. Fans it out with DN. One-on-one with Knight, who's continuing to direct traffic. One of the vocal leaders on this team, as Baker goes again for the 4th time. Spun in, headed over. McRobb looking for his first goal contribution in League One. But the 24-year-old, using all 6'3" of that frame, pushes it over. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. At the very least, Greenville have already had a much better 15 minutes to the second half than they did in the entire first half. Already matching their 2 attempts in the first half and already got their first on target, as that is shy of Rodriguez, taken away by Wu. Devin Boyce with room alongside Camilo Fritz. Fritz again with Boyce. Ahead for Evans. Attempted to center. Couple bounces. Dien trying to use the speed of Rodriguez. He gets caught from behind by Fritz and will take the yellow card in the process. It was the grab of the back of the jersey. Fritz just a little bit desperate, trying to prevent Rodriguez from going even further in front. Rodriguez can just threaten you because he has those wheels. Already 4 total goals on the year. 2 in the regular season, 2 in the Open Cup. As he takes it off the stoppage. Perkins spun out of control. Leading ahead for Rodrigo Robles. Centers, Leotti in the area, but too high. It is Dave Dixon who will make the first change of the game. Rodrigo Robles comes out for the 27-year-old from Kenya, William Akio. Hasn't played at all with Greenville since the 9th. Back in that game in Clemson against Richmond. Corralled by Dien. Outside, Krachenkov, Murphy to center, off of the defender for a corner to Knoxville. Evan Lee got the body in the way. Once again, it's Teddy Baker. A little bit of discussion inside of the box. Knoxville trying to wash away their last two at home, which were both losses. Baker, low ball, forced, T.O. too high. They continue to take the swings towards them all night. They are close to tripling the number of attempts on Greenville or Knoxville. They are one of the top teams in the league in that department, just haven't capitalized yet. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on CBS Sports Golazo or ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Fumbled by Rodriguez, back to Greenville, who are winless in the last 4 in the regular season, despite winning their first 2 of 3 in league play. Baker shoves his man down from behind. Where for Greenville, after this, they will have a opening day with their new stadium, GE Vernova Park. That'll be a midweek match on Wednesday the 3rd. Accio above the head of Liotti. A 15-month process between the groundbreaking back in March of last year. And they'll be able to celebrate the ribbon cutting of GE Vernova Park with home games in 3 of the next 4. Including home dates against Loudoun United of the USL Championship in the Prince Tires USL Cup. Dia touches it. Murphy tightropes the line. Murphy cut down. And that'll be a yellow card to Chapa Herrera. That was Chapa Herrera who got in on Murphy. And Murphy just blazing by, you could see just the 2 legs wrapped around the 1. Chapa Herrera, 3rd year with Greenville, expected to be a part of the Triumph till at least 2028 when he signed his extension in the beginning of the month. But he and the Triumph side will have to watch out. Baker just on the outside of the box. Baker, high arc, McRobb gets the header, and that one does not sneak inside the post, unlike the one that opened this game up. Knoxville will get a bit of a layoff after this game. They play in a week and a half from now, where they will host the Chattanooga Red Wolves in the USL Cup. And for Knoxville, they only have the 2 points from their PK win against Tulsa. For Greenville, it'll be their 2nd game of USL Cup action when they take on Loudoun a couple of weeks from now on the 10th. Trying to wash away maybe and reset the slate in the USL Cup, considering that their 3-0 loss to Greenville was a part of the 461 goalless minutes that they had to deal with. McRobb couldn't clear it. Liotti keeps it alive. Centering feed behind the back of Accio and swept away. Boyce settles. Waits for help. Here's Fritz. Off of Rodriguez. Still Fritz. Second service. McRobb the head. Greenville will take back-to-back throws. And almost any time there's a stoppage within 20 meters of the end line, look towards the former number 10 overall draft pick of Red Bull New York, Patrick Segrist. The toss is in. Boyce cuts it down. Rodriguez, the escape. Leading the way, Krachenkov, that goes off the face of Wu. Well, that's Fritz rather. Krachenkov nearly had a breakaway, but Camilo Fritz, he'll take that to prevent the breakaway anytime he can. And this will be a chance to come in. Nico Rosamilia, the last time he was on this field, he was raising the trophy to be the USL League One Finals MVP, where he scored the opening goal in the final against Spokane Velocity. Made his season debut last time out against Corpus Christi. At least in regular season play, his first match. He did play 11 minutes in San Antonio. As Liotti escaped McRobb, but not Caputo. It does remain with the triumph. Wu will take it off Krachenkov for a Greenville corner.
One Knox fans, this is your last call for your peaceful side club life. Drink on lights for One Knox. This is your last call.
'74th minute between Greenville and Knoxville. Knoxville lead 1-0. And final call has come on $3 beer night. Segrist. Deep ball again. No one in white can recover. Perkins forcing the issue. Rosamilia, he's got wheels but can't get around Knight, who's going to force the Knoxville throw. Rosamilia was a former high school track star trying to show off the wheels from what he did back in his track and field days in his native New Jersey. Was thwarted by the veteran keeper Knight. The throw-ins back in play for Knoxville. The next regular season match for One Knox will be 2 weeks from now. Well, they'll be back here at home to host the Cosmos. As Baker on the pivot takes it back from Rosamilia. Perkins corrals. He crosses. Can't get to Krachenkov. He already had one cross benefit and go in for Knoxville. It'll be a throw this time out. Final 15 of regulation. Heaves it. Lee. Accio flips it. Knoxville always keen to reset. Rosamilia successfully chases it down. Rosamilia punched out by Knight. No rebound available for one Knox. They say it missed Accio, so it'll stay with Greenville. As this was the last opportunity, Rosamilia trying to go outside and in. You had Krachenkov waiting on the back post, but Knight, 32 years of age, using that experience all around the USL and all around the world to prevent what could have been a tap-in for the most dangerous goal scorer on the field. Accio couldn't get there, as that is Abel Caputo once again drawing the yellow card for Greenville. Baker got the first ball loose, and you can just see that they were late on Caputo there. Not the best goal of things for Patrick Segrist.
In the 76th minute, the referee throws a caution yellow card.
Takes a yellow card on top of an own goal.
Patrick Segrist. That yellow card is presented by Diggs. House of Sport. Whether you're looking for your next smart pack or a cannabis collectible, the new Collectors Clubhouse has you covered. Diggs House of Sport. Every season starts here.
With the one Knox opening goal, it'll keep Greenville as the only team in League One without a clean sheet. And it'll also prevent Amal Knight from potentially getting what could have been his first clean sheet since decision day in 2024 when he was still a member of Lexington. And also a bit of an uphill climb too for Greenville if they do want to find that elusive first win on the road. Even more so for this Greenville Triumph team, who are ready to make a couple of changes. Leo Castro is set to come in. He will replace Camilo Fricks, get that yellow card out of the game. And then Lucas Meek will replace Devin Boyce. So two changes on the right side of the formation, and a return home for Lucas Meek, where he got to spend the final 3 months of the year with one Knox. He came to Knoxville in August, was one of those players largely coming off of the bench, the 27-year-old from Mercer Island, Washington, the former Husky. You take a midfielder and you take a fullback and replace them with two forwards. Very much trying to secure any sort of points is Dave Dixon. Bouncing around, Accio frees it, but only blue jerseys in the way. Rodriguez took it out from Meek. They do rule that a corner for Knoxville. Swung in, punched out by Knight. No rebound available, but it will go inside of the flag for back-to-back Knoxville corners, much to the chagrin of Amal Knight. Back-to-back for Baker. Outward, headed away by Castro. And once again, retreating towards Johan Garibay.
If you like nights like this, make sure you're here for more. The One Knoxville SC offers full season, half season, and 6-match membership options, so you never miss action. Visit oneknoxsc.com or stop by the sales table near Station 110 for more information.
Dribbled towards Bradilio Rodriguez. Curls it and scores! Rodriguez with potentially the finishing touches of this match, with goals in back-to-back, and gets the second to One Knox. What patience from Bradilio Rodriguez. Sidesteps Meek, and what a ball that can curl around Amal Knight, who could only stare as that one flashed behind him. What a strike this is from Bradilio Rodriguez. That's goals in back-to-back, his third in the regular season. And One Knox likely have put the finishing touches on this one. Deep ball aiming towards Castro, not available. As for Bradilio Rodriguez, he only had one goal in the regular season in the opening 2.5 months. He might be looking for two himself. Pivots. Rodriguez. Poked back. Chris Tio. Tio across. Headed out by Segrist to prevent either DN or Kochenkov from getting theirs. This puts Knoxville at 5 corners in the second half alone versus the 4 for Greenville. And we'll be seeing some changes made by Coach Fuller, as Zarcostas and Linares will be the ones to come in. Linares will come in for Kochenkov, and it's Zarcostas in for Rodriguez. A prompt and swift exit, stage left for Bradilio Rodriguez. And Denis Kochenkov will sit down as well. We still have the business of the corner kick to deal with from Baker. Outward, McRobb. Too much on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for your peaceful cycle. Player of the match, number 72.
Enter the Prince Tires USL Cup Game Day Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on the screen and enter today. Another change coming up for the Triumph. Chopper Herrera and his yellow card are off to the bench, and this will be the first chance to see Jason Borgi in 2026. He was out for the first couple weeks of the season. He was kind of back in the swing of things last week, but didn't get a chance to play against Portland Hearts of Pine. Had a broken toe in the early portion of the preseason, was Borgi. Just hoping that Borgi could get back into the mix of things. With words from Dave Dixon. Last played in September of last year when he was a member of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in a game against Hartford Athletic. First year in League One, first year pro was with the Hounds last year, where he finished off his NCAA time with Villanova. Castro pivots, lets it fly, too high. For One Knox, it's a return to the USL Cup on the 10th, where they'll host the Chattanooga Red Wolves before returning to regular season play on the 13th versus New York Cosmos, where One Knox are aiming for their first win since the beginning of the month. May 2nd, 3-0 on the road against FC Naples in Southwest Florida. As for Greenville Triumph, they'll play on Wednesday to open up their home venue, GE Vernova Park, where their only 2 wins of the year were at home, but that was in their previous home venue in Furman, even playing that one game in Clemson. And they'll get to open their new stadium with home matches in 3 of the next 4. The only home game will be going to Westchester midway through June. As Accio plays it back for Borgi, making his first appearance since a preseason broken toe. Liotti heads it down and stopped by Garibay as he cuts off Castro. What a save by Johan Garibay as Liotti lays it back to Castro, and the full outstretched stop. He came in as a trialist back in 2023 and making huge saves, starting the way for the reigning champs, One Knox, as they'll have to backtrack. Evans tossed in, Castro leaves it. Couldn't communicate with Meek. Accio from behind got it disrupted by Zarakostas. And Linares will sweep it away. More reinforcements coming. Baker is out for Danny Fernandez. And this will be the USL League One debut of Eli Cook, the 16-year-old from Knoxville's academy program. He will be the change-up for Babacar Dieng. So for Baker and Fernandez, that is more reinforcements on the defensive side of things. And enter the 16-year-old making his League One debut, Eli Cook. He'll turn 17 in just a couple days from now, over the weekend on the 3rd. That's actually next Tuesday, as Lucas Meek into the area. Accio got it blocked off. They'll come back to Knoxville. Greenville are at home against Madison before they host Loudoun United of the USL Championship in the USL Cup, where Greenville lost their lone game to open up the tournament. As we have entered stoppage time, brought to you by Zoom Drain, the official drainage partner of One Knoxville. 4 added minutes. That's what 2 goals can do. Castro. Settled down, Meek through the mixer, couldn't get it through. The barrage of blue interrupted that chance. And play stops favoring one Knox. Coach Fuller said that coming off of a holiday weekend and the return to home, wanting to wash away not just their recent form where they have not won in their last 3, but also their recent home form where they've lost back-to-back. At the very least, he wanted to ensure that the people got their money's worth and they put on a good show for the fans at home. Sold out the League One final. And what a way to start off a Friday, assuming all holds for the next 2.5 minutes. Not just potentially the first win for one Knox since the beginning of the month, but on $3 beer night nonetheless. Free koozies given away at the gate. They might have to clench onto those a little tightly as Greenville set up for a free kick. Into the second half between the Mingos and the Sharks. They have about a half an hour left. That game's on CBS Sports Golazo after the conclusion of this match. Connor Evans to take. Team lead and chance created. Sends it in. Held on by Garibay. This will go end to end towards them all night. One Knox are 1 minute away from their first win since the second. They have not had back-to-back losses at home since June of 2024 in regular season play, and that will remain today. Three, 2-1 here at Covenant Health Park in 2026. After an 11-0-4 run in the regular season last year. Settled down. Fernandez chips it. Zarakostas maybe looking for a third. Took a ricochet, couldn't get to Rosamilia. Chased in by Cook. Keeps it in play. Knoxville might be looking for that third after all. Linares couldn't get the return feed from Fernandez. And the former one Knox man Meeks walks it out. And there is the final whistle. They have refound their form at the Fortress as one Knox find their first win at home in 6 weeks. 2-0 the final. As our man of the match and the clean sheet presented by Big Slate, Johan Garibay, 5th clean sheet in 2026. Sole possession of the lead in USL League One. He was tied in that department going into the evening. He now stands alone, leading the league in clean sheets with 5. And he is our man of the match from Peaceful Side. He and Fuller have refound their form in their Fortress. Dropping 2, but got to get their full 3 for the first time since the beginning of the month. We'll wrap things up at Covenant Health Park when we come back.
Extra. It changes the energy on the field and off. It changes the expectations. It changes the game. At Regions, we celebrate the extra that makes the SEC the definition of excellence, while our team goes the extra mile so your financial wins keep coming too. Extra changes everything. And extra is our ordinary at Regions, official bank of the SEC.
It was definitely worth the wait. I jumped on it as soon as it was available.
Everybody's switching. I see the signs popping up all over the neighborhood.
Roxol is super fast speeds down and up.
It's a huge upgrade.
Cost is always consistent. I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
I still got it, and I still love it.
If it's in your area, you better get it. And if it's not, it'll soon be there, and you can get it then.
If you want to learn how to fan the football way, ask the fans with a Modelo. They look like thousands, but sound like one. In their hands, a simple beat is transformed into a masterpiece. Commitment runs through their veins. Because to them, the bigger the family, the better the game. So go ahead, ask the fans with a Modelo.
We wrap things up here in Knoxville where they close out to a 2-0 win, their first at home since midway through April. Resetting the slate before the calendar turns to June later on in the weekend. But before we wrap things up in Knoxville, let's take a look at how we ended up in this at this point as we go through our full-time highlights. 3 minutes after the break, this was a really awkward one, but it was Will Perkins got the cross off of the deflection. It was credited as an own goal by Patrick Segrist. And that's where the scoring opened up, but 53 minutes, there was some threatening opportunities for Greenville, especially in the second half, but what an exceptional couple of saves by Johan Garibay. He was exceptional throughout the game today. But this is another opportunity where it could have been 2, but DN couldn't bury it. And in the 61st, more opportunities continue to come for One Knox. But eventually, in the 81st minute, they got through as our play of the match is presented by Baked Beans, Bush's Baked Beans. And he just gets around Lucas Meek, but Delio Rodriguez curls it just inside of the right post to take the game to 2-0. And just before the end of regulation, this great opportunity by Leo Castro and the exceptional denial by Johan Garibay. And that's where we stand through 90 minutes. One Knox most certainly made the most of this game. They had a large portion of the control throughout 2/3 after the first half, over 55% in the second half. They've really had Greenville's number throughout the entire game, and when you just have the ball and do a lot with it, you're going to suffocate the other team sooner or later. For Ian Fuller's guys, they were just doing everything they can because they wanted so badly to get back into the shape that allowed them to dominate last year, and a home win can most certainly do that. Well, that is where we stand, opening things up in match week 13 of USL League One. One Knoxville, they really had their way and they controlled it at the end of the day to a 2-0 win against Greenville Triumph. For our entire USL League One and ESPN Plus crew, my name is Brian Lee. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.